The New Jersey Pinelands Commission is celebrating the 40th anniversary of the Pinelands Comprehensive Management Plan, and we're here today with Joan Batory, who served as Camden County's representative on the commission from its creation in 1979 until 1985. Ms. Batory founded the Camden County Environmental Studies Center, and from 1973 to 1975, she owned and operated the first environmental land use planning company in South Jersey. She was the director of the Camden County Environmental Agency and worked as a program manager for the National Park Service, where she advanced the designation of the Great Egg Harbor River as a national wild and scenic river. She also worked to establish recycling programs in Chester County, served as Philadelphia's recycling coordinator, and most recently has turned her attention to green building and sustainability. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Paul.
So you've dedicated your life to environmental protection. When did you know that this was your calling?
When I was a child.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
What was there a particular moment in time or something?
I owe it all to my father.
Okay.
He worked with his hands 5 days a week, came home, and on the weekends said to my brother, me, and my mother, let's get in the car, we're going exploring.
Mm-hmm.
We would go to all sorts of areas where we had never been before. I don't know how he found them. I don't know how he found his way back. But he pointed out pheasants, turtles, ducks, rabbits, and beautiful environmental areas that living in West Philadelphia, I never would have had the chance to see.
Mm-hmm. I see. So let's take a trip back in time. What was it like in 1980 as you were a volunteer on a board that's charged with reviewing and approving this Pinelands Comprehensive Management Plan that's going to regulate land use, development, and the protection of the extraordinary resources of the Pinelands?
It was very interesting. I was extremely enthusiastic about being appointed. And I knew I had the support of our congressional delegation, which was very important because they were fully in support of it, had worked towards the passage of the legislation that created what we know today as the New Jersey Pinelands Commission. I was also confident that we could get there. I had been as an advocate of Pinelands preservation for 10 or 12 years before I was appointed to the commission. And I decided I wanted to be open-minded about the other members of the commission, most of whom were very different from me in many different ways. But more than anything else, I was very aware of the place in history that if this preservation effort succeeded, it would be a model for others to come.
Mm-hmm. So as the plan was being developed, what were some of your chief concerns about the plan and how it would turn out?
I was concerned after we completed the plan that it didn't go far enough.
Okay.
That we were supposed to be protecting. I was concerned about the fact that we were relying on zoning, which is fallible, rather than outright purchase, which was impossible. Mm-hmm. And I was concerned about the fact that during my time as the head of the land use planning company, I had worked with developers who wanted to develop significant portions of the Great Egg Harbor watershed. And I had seen how valuable it was, yet when I was in charge of reviewing all of the 22 consultant reports as a commissioner to ensure that they were complete and were able to be passed on to the consultants who were preparing the plan and to our staff, what I saw in basically every single consultant report was that that area of South Jersey was not addressed. And I felt that was a flaw in research that had been done because there had been no research done, to be quite honest, in that whole area of, I think it's 3 or 4 counties in South Jersey. Mm-hmm. And finally, I was concerned that we had created an atmosphere of hostility with municipal officials and generally the public. And I wanted to counteract that by establishing an educational arm of the commission who could open like 2 gateway centers, for example, on the Atlantic City Expressway, another major entranceway from the north, where you could have a mini museum explaining the importance of the New Jersey Pinelands and why people who live there should be very proud of that fact and should advocate for its continued preservation.
I see, yes. Now, it's interesting, just recently we opened up a Pinelands Exhibit Center in our office that serves that exact goal. And with the idea that the more people learn about the Pinelands and what makes it special, the more they'll want to support efforts to protect it. So you
Yes, yes, absolutely right. And I wish we had been able to do it 40 years ago, but we had other things in our mind and we did not have the physical or the economic resources that would have allowed that to happen. So congratulations, it's a good start.
Yes, thank you. You know, I feel like a lot of the success and any success that we have is based on those who came before us. And certainly all the work and efforts that you put in and other commissioners and other staff members, we're receiving the benefits of that now. So thank you for that. What lessons do you think can be learned from that process to create and implement the Pinelands Plan? Can it be transferred to other areas?
Yeah, you know, there were two areas that preceded the concept of the Pinelands Plan, but they approached it differently. The California Coastal Commission was the closest because it was in the United States. Their approach was to purchase the areas that fringe the Pacific Ocean to create a coastal trail and a protected coastline. And I think that there are a few things that planners facing conservation, preservation efforts in the future need to acknowledge and address. One is that you definitely need buy-in from the stakeholders who are living there. It's awfully difficult to come by, but it's important to try. And the second thing is that you need to come up with a mechanism that provides a little more security than zoning. Although I must admit that over the 40-year period, it seems to me that perhaps that technique has held. I'm not sure what the total development has been in the Pinelands since the Comprehensive Management Plan was created. I would hope that it was judiciously decided upon and allocated, but I am not sure where we stand in terms of overall development.
Okay. So currently, over 50% of the land has been permanently protected through a variety of programs, and that's been very helpful and a very powerful tool for ensuring the protection of the Pinelands in perpetuity. So that's been one of the big goals. So looking back on that time, what are you most proud of during your tenure as a commission member and as someone who played such an important role in the creation and adoption of this plan, this groundbreaking plan?
Well, I'm pleased that I was the center point of the original process and in the meetings of the commission, in that all of the governor's appointees were very conservation minded. They had a big picture of where we needed to go. As a county appointee, I was the only one who really appreciated that big picture. And when it came time to vote on things, I was always the swing vote. So I'm very happy and grateful that I was able to bring that experience to the commission and that sentiment of conservation and preservation being the recognized outcome of what we were doing. I guess the second thing is that because of my efforts to have the commission and the municipal officials in South Jersey acknowledge the fact that the Great Egg Harbor River needed to be protected in some form, I was able to continue that advocacy into my next position with the National Park Service, which resulted in the designation of the Great Egg Harbor River as a national wild, scenic, and recreational river in 1992. To me, both those activities, serving on the commission and being a force in the preservation of that river are things that I am most proud of in my entire career, I might add.
Mm-hmm. That's great. Well, I want to thank you for all of your efforts going way back on the commission and all throughout the period since to work to protect our environment. You know, I feel like the environment our environment is a cleaner, healthier place as a result of the efforts of people such as yourself. So thank you.
Thank you, Paul. Pleasure talking with you.
Yes, thank you for being here today. Talk to you soon.